My name is Paul Luna, and you're tuned into F&B Lunacy. I am here today with Master Chef Helmut Holzer. So tell us a bit about yourself.
That's the worst thing you can ask me, because I don't know how to blow my own horn, So that's a difficult one.
What are you cooking on? What are you working on? Or how long have you been
now? I'm no longer active in the day-to-day culinary field. I've moved over into R&D for the last 18 years, and been working on plant-based proteins, everything from insects to bio stem cell growing meats in petri dishes, so to speak, from ideations all the way to taking it to the shelf. Right now, I'm working with a Thai company coming in with plant-based proteins and on the Southeast Asian flavor profiles with rice, with noodles, all different type of fun stuff like that.
Sounds incredibly interesting.
It is. It's been a tough year, but it's been also a very rewarding year from that aspect.
Great. As a master in the food and beverage industry, what do you see for the future of culinary arts?
Oh boy, that's a loaded question, but the restaurant industry, as you know, is suffering greatly right now, and a lot of the industry is shifting into retail, into meal kits, into home meals and all replacements, so on and so forth. So it's going to be, the tough one's going to be making it, and the weak one's going to be flushed out, unfortunately.
What about for the food and beverage industry as a whole?
As a whole, as soon as we have the virus under control, I'm sure it's going to bloom back to its glory before. It's going to take some time. I would say end of 22 will be somewhat back in the saddle.
This pandemic, it has turned the restaurant industry globally on its head. What are your thoughts?
Well, we all at one point say to ourselves, well, we chefs, we cooks, we always going to have a job because everybody has to eat. Well, that's no longer the case, So unless you think outside the box and you go and reinvent yourself, you're going to be sitting on the side of the road, so to speak.
What do you think of self-taught chefs?
Cooking comes from the heart, so depending on how big your heart is and how much you devote yourself to it, there's a lot of good hobby cooks out there. Chefs, self-taught chefs, if they work with good trained chefs, they can reach a certain level as well.
What advice do you have for the chef restaurateur who wants to open a restaurant in this reality?
I make it a grab and go.
The grab and go will work better.
Yeah, I think I've suggested a lot of different folks different opportunities. If the everyday housewife or the everyday, I call them home economic engineers, they don't have access to the quality of meats and the quality of fish, quality of chicken we have access to. So I suggested, why don't you go and turn the restaurant into a little market where so many people can come in, they can select, they can have some beautiful cuts of meat, some pâtés, terrines, all the different stuff you can make, and you can utilize, because every square foot of your restaurant has to make money. Otherwise, there's no reason for having a restaurant. Might as well have a truck, have a food truck, because there's no need for you to sit down and have candlelight, and you cannot enjoy it right now. It's impossible, right? So I told him, turn your waiters into delivery people, turn your cooks into production people, and try to overcome this whole mess until it turns around. How much is going to turn around? That's still in the crystal ball got broken in the last UPS shipment, so I don't know.
For a while there, we were seeing a trend towards chef-owned establishment. Do you still see that trend leading forward?
Yeah, the brave ones still going to go forward with it. The ones who have people believe in them and float the bill, because not every chef is made to be a business person, you know.
Is gaining mastery in the kitchen enough nowadays?
You continue. I just finished my term as chairman of the American MasterChef's Order, and our mission is continue the craft, hone the craft, and our slogan is forever student. So you continuously have to go and reevaluate yourself, educate yourself. You can never stop in this business learning, look at different opportunities, and hone your skill.
You know, when I think of chefs, I think of the things that chefs now have to do, not just in cooking, but when it comes to social media. What are your thoughts?
Yes. I think social media is definitely a huge, it's a double-edged sword. It's like Food Network, you know. Food Network
Right.
did a lot for the name chef, but it also kind of gave I don't know, it gave the wrong picture. You know, I think everybody wants to come out of school and be a TV chef, you know. Not everybody is an Emeril Lagasse. Not everybody is a, you know, whoever the names might be, or Iron Chef. A lot of show. I'm not sure if the skill level has to be there. So it's a little bit of a smoke and mirrors, in my opinion.
Do you have anything you'd like to share with the people? Anything any thoughts, anything you're working on?
Yeah, we're working on some incredible meal kits out of Thailand, Indian flavor profiles, Thai profiles, where even a simple home economic engineer can make a great meal at home. The noodles are there, the pre-cooked, the coconut milk is there, the blend protein. It's just, or you can do your own shrimp, chicken, pork, beef, whatever you want to do. 5 minutes, you have a meal done.
And it has your
And
seal of approval,
authentic.
Helmut?
It is outstanding. I mean, we could not make it this way anywhere else in the world, because the flavors, the authenticity, the herbs, the kaffir leaves, all the different stuff used is so authentic. My team in Thailand just go above and beyond to come up with great product.
Is there a name for it yet, or
the company, the brand name is going to be Rootworks, ROOT, Rootworks. The company name is Farm to Plate LLC.
okay?
We just now getting ready to open up the website here in the next day or so.
Great. So we look
I have
forward
another
to it.
colleague of mine. I had another colleague of mine join me in this mission. James Corwell is one of the co-founders and now a partner of our chief in Bangkok. So wonderful team. It's been a year in the works to, and of course, the pandemic did not help one bit. Right now, we worry about getting containers. There's a shortage of shipping containers, so everything is running behind.
Great. I look forward to seeing the product and to tasting it.
We actually have some colleagues in Austria already expressed interest, and we already have a good established amount of business in Norway. Think about a Chinese takeout container, but full colors. Inside of the container on the bottom part is noodles or rice, and there's a little container so it doesn't touch itself. Slides into it with the sauce and the protein already there, frozen. Take it out, put it in the microwave oven, 5-6 minutes, depending on wattage. You have a great meal. You can pour it inside each other, mix it, and eat it out of the container. It's all biodegradable. Or create a nice dish and put it in a bowl and eat it with chopsticks. If you're not as skilled with chopsticks, eat it with a fork and a spoon.
For those of us who don't know how to use the chopstick, we can carry a fork and a spoon.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way. I mean, even in Thailand, a lot of people eat with the spoon and fork. So or spoon and chopsticks. So
we can probably have it like a little cup of coffee or tea, if it has a sauce element to it.
True.
What sort of music?
There's a lot of exciting stuff coming up. It's a lot of we like I say, plant protein. We've been working hard on chicken nuggets coming up, chicken tenders coming up. We call them chickies, fishies, and then porkies. So all the different plant-based proteins. So a lot of exciting stuff is going on.
How long have you been working on this?
On the plant-based, I've been in the plant-based segment for the last 4.5, 5 years, and worked a little bit with the Impossible Burgers, worked a little bit with Hungry Planet, different folks like that, and most recently just started developing a meatball, like an Italian meatball, but is gluten-free, and if you have it in a tomato sauce, it's like people said, "There's no meat in it." Really? No, there's no meat in it. So it's like that's the trick of getting the sensory, getting the texture, getting the look, the smell. So that's a part of the R&D. But today we have. It used to be very difficult.
That's what keeps you going, Helmut. Always reinventing.
I always like I said, forever a student. I always like to learn new things. I always like to learn how to do different things. I just want to be a better person tomorrow than I was today.
That's wonderful. It really is. What sort of music do you enjoy to listen when you're not in a kitchen?
My hobby is golf. So I love to play golf, and I have Amazon Prime. So I have all kind of different music available. I have my own little speaker in the cart, and I go from Santana to hard rock, whatever, depending on the mood. And so as long as it got good sound and a good beat to it, I like it. So I might go from classical all the way to hard rock. It's okay.
How often do you play music? How often do you play golf?
Every day that ends with a Y, except on Tuesday.
Okay.
Kidding. as often as I can. So mostly on the weekends. So.
Okay. You're from Austria. What brought you to the USA?
Via South Africa, Bermuda, Spain, Canada, and then to the US.
Okay.
It was a little round trip.
All right. It was a short journey?
Yeah, exactly. It was only took about 10 years. That's all.
This question is a little off the wall. So, Chef Helmut, would you consider yourself a lunatic?
In a degree, yeah, to a degree. You have to be in this business. It cannot be. I mean, you have to love this business. You have to enjoy it. Otherwise, you could not succeed in it. That's impossible. It's too hard of a job. The hours, we used to say a half day is 12 hours. And that's for real. I mean, you've been in the business, so.
The hours are incredible. The amount of work and the return for one's investment is
You
also
have to
quite.
love it. I mean, there's no question about it. You have to love it because, I mean, I can spend hours on a dish and in perfecting it, and yet if I have to go and change the tire on the car, I want to kick the car over the cliff, you know. So it's not my forte. I don't like it, but I can go and inlay little cutouts into a aspic mold for hours and be precise and perfect. But I do not like to do, dig holes in the yard.
So is it fair to say that your meaning in life would be love?
You have to love it, yes.
You have to love it.
You have to love it. There's no other question about it. It has to be an entire lifestyle. It's not a job, it's a lifestyle. It's a career. It's not a paycheck. It is definitely, because if you break the hours down to an hourly rate, you're making less than a guy in McDonald's.
That is correct. That is a fair assessment there. We relating back to what you were saying earlier about social media and chefs coming out of culinary school, it's very difficult to be able to jump from cooking and wanting to be a star celebrity chef, and that doesn't really happen like that. There's a lot of hard work involved.
It's I mean, some people get lucky and get that break, and come out smell like roses, and some it's a lifetime before they even see a camera. So.
Well, Chef Helmut, thank you for joining us at FMB Lunacy. I look forward to your dishes, that you have coming.
You reside in Switzerland now, I understand.
I am in Switzerland currently. I live in Switzerland. I've been here for about 10 years, and I'm doing this documentary, which is actually it's two-part sort of documentary. One is a component that I like to share with where the industry or where we are in the industry currently and today. In Switzerland now, we're closed. All restaurants and bars are closed until the 22nd.
Yeah, I speak to my sister. She lives in Austria, and all my family actually is in Austria. So same thing, So.
And there doesn't seem to be any type of communication.
What what's the strange thing is, and a colleague just wrote that, and I was reading it on Facebook. The restaurateur works so hard to keep everything clean, has salt and pepper shakers, cannot be on the table, have to be sanitized, has spends a fortune on printing paper, or has the little QSR code for menus, because nobody wants to touch the next person's thing. It has to be thrown away, and everybody has to wear a mask, and everything has to be picobello, everything has to be sanitized every 5 minutes. And now you go in a retail store, people walk through, touch the apples, turn them around, I don't like this, put it back on. And so if you put this in relation, restaurateurs have no chance right now. They're absolutely being crucified.
Well, it's interesting because I just did a release that I'm an episode where I'm releasing where it talks about exactly what you're saying. I don't understand why the Bahnhof is operating, why the supermarkets are open, why the malls are open, which have more people
Yeah.
which have more in a density type of environment.
Correct.
You're absolutely right in terms of the apple, in terms of the tomatoes, in terms of everything that's available.
Yeah, there's no, and going down the wrong aisle, and if you're in a restaurant, if you get off the table and you're not eating, you have to put your mask on to go to the restroom. It's crazy, absolutely insane. The standards, the standards
they've
are so
eliminated
different.
everything that's social.
Yeah, exactly,
You know,
exactly. I think it's breaking down, the whole barrier is breaking down. Everybody's getting the scarce tactics and stuff like this. It's really bad right now. Yeah.
What I find interesting, once again, is that there's no communication from the Bund or the Stadt to its people. And I am finding it at least.
I think they lost themselves. I think they don't know how to communicate it. I think it goes by every day something different, and whatever they find out that day, the next day becomes law. You know, I mean, we had all these riots here in the U.S.
Right.
And in Germany, really quickly, they found a law that you cannot congregate. You know, therefore, because of the pandemic, therefore you cannot riot. Bingo, no more problem. You know, freedom of speech does not apply. You know, so.
Well, but my question then becomes, you know, what are we, the people who actually elected government? What is our responsibility? Do we hold government responsible?
Well, the only way you can is vote, and unfortunately, that's manipulated by the media like there's no tomorrow. So, hope for the best.
So we go back into the cycle. My question then becomes, you know, yeah, we should all run for politics.
Yeah, there's one job. It's almost like the weatherman. You can always be 100% wrong, and you still have a job, and you have no accountability and no responsibility if you're in politics. Bingo, perfect job. And you get paid lifetime paycheck.
So for the future, we should recommend to young people, both young men and young ladies, that whether
big cowboys
become a weather reporter.
As the song go, let them be doctors and lawyers and politicians, I guess. So.
And there goes the food and beverage industry as a whole.
And the problem is the craft is suffering right now. I mean, I talked to some of my colleagues. They have no staff. Why? Because it's being promoted. Being home is more cost efficient than going to work.
Right.
So I think it's everywhere right now the same, you know. So, but I don't know. I don't want to get into too much politics. It's always a sore subject matter. But just, you know, we suffering in the food industry, beverage industry, not so much because you can drink at home, you don't have to wear a mask, you know. And now they passed laws that you can have containers of alcohol to carry out. So bingo. So. And
if we're drunk, we're really not paying attention to anything anyway.
Exactly. You got my point. You're so quick.
Well, Helmut, thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Well, it was good to see you again. It's been a long time. So.
Yes, I'm going to also send you an email, just so that you know, so that you can talk, if you like, more in terms of a description. I have follow-up questions or before questions that I didn't relate them to you, so that you can speak about your project and everything and give us information. We'll let you know. I'll let you know when this is edited and cut and up for air, and so that you can share it.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Paul.
Stay
well, stay healthy, stay safe. You're looking good.
Thank you. You too. You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.